We slept in the same bed every night.
Welcome to this week's episode of WanderLust Wednesday.
And this week we are presenting the 10 best backpacking tips for new travelers.
So get your pen and paper and join us on our journey and let us tell you what we think are the hottest tips.
School started. Tip number 1. Pack less than you think you're gonna need. I cannot count the amount of times we were traveling and we're like, oh my god, I wish we had just not packed 18 t-shirts. Because you get to a lot of places and obviously you're gonna wanna bring home something to remember it, and a lot of times you end up picking up cheap clothes or jewelry or things like that, and if you don't pack those things, then you don't have to carry those things and you can just buy them when you're over there.
Tip number 2, ask the locals. They know best, obviously. Throw away the travel book. I mean, it's good before you leave, but why lug a big book around when you're traveling Thailand, for example? Talk to people. The best way to learn about a place is from the people who live there. Ask them what they think. If you're staying in a place like Airbnb, go out with your host, because they're probably going to show you the best time possible.
Tip number 12. So schedules are great when you travel. We had a massive one for a trip, but then we also realized that we would get sad or frustrated when we realized we just couldn't fit in everything. So do a lot of research beforehand, but once you get there, be loosey and goosey and let yourself get lost.
Tip number 4, bank cards. Taking money out while away, it can be a hassle, trust me.
And expensive.
Yeah, but if you're traveling with someone, a really good option is to take turns taking money out, because every time you go to the ATM, you're getting charged a service fee and the exchange rate, and it ends up being crazy pricey. Also, look into options at your bank, because some cards actually have options where you don't have to pay a service fee every time you take money out. So look for those travel cards, they're handy.
Tip number 5. Take photocopies of your important documents, multiples of them, and then put them in different spots, such as your passport or your health card, your travel insurance, which you better have or else don't even go on the plane, all your special stuff, because you never know where you're going to be and when you're going to need it. So you can have one in your wallet and you can have one in your special travel folder that you kick around in your bag. We actually would swap each other's info in case something happened to each other, and then we had each other's stuff on us if, hopefully not, we had to go to a hospital or something like that. And we didn't! Oh, that's a lie. We did go into the hospital. That's another story.
Also, maybe give a document to an important person at home. So if you're stuck in a bind, they have copies of it as well. I always give something to my mom, for example. Travel tip number 6. Give yourself an extra day or two than you think when you're back home you'll want, because when you get there, you want to have fun. Why have a bus booked and be like, oh, sorry, I got to dip early because my schedule told me so. Give yourself extra time when it comes to buses, especially if you're traveling to Asia, for example, because they'll show up late, they'll show up early, and you just
or they don't show up at all. Number 7. So this is my ultimate favorite thing to do is research hostels before we go away. And being a little keener, I like to book them, even though we just said roll with the punches. I like to book them ahead of time because you never know when you're going to get into a city. Like when I was 19, I showed up in Amsterdam at midnight and didn't have a place to stay, and it was not fun, and we had to walk around the streets until we found a hostel that would take us in August, and everything's booked. Don't go to Amsterdam in August. So I like to look at hostels beforehand, and luckily if you want to book one, you just pay a tiny deposit that is normally like $1 or $2. So say you're in a place and you're like, I don't want to leave yet and I have a hostel booked. It's not that big of a deal to not show up to your reservation and lose $1 or $2.
Tip number 8, lucky number 8, buy groceries. Country depending, obviously. People always ask me, what did you do to save money to stretch it for as long as you did? We ended up buying groceries. As soon as we got to Australia and New Zealand, holy crap, it was expensive. But we went to the Pack and Save and we loaded up on that brie cheese and avocado, and that's what we ate for 2 weeks.
Tip number 9. Be aware.
Take care.
What do we mean by that? A variety of things. When you're traveling, unfortunately, something you need to keep an eye on is the pickpockets. They are everywhere. They're in Europe, they're in Asia. I didn't really see them in Australia or New Zealand, which was nice. But in most tourist places, they will be there. So just be aware. Other thing, split up your cash. Don't carry your cash around in one spot, because if you lose that bag, you're gonna be real sad.
Our final tip number 10. Take the space you need. Traveling with someone for a long time, you might get annoyed at each other. Didn't really happen for us. No. But if you need time, take it. Go for a walk. Go to a museum by yourself. It's okay to make new friends. They'll still be there at the end of the day, and you're going to be a lot better off if you take time to go chill out if you're feeling angry. Everybody has bad days. Don't take it personally. And that is all the time we have in this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Happy Hers Wanderlust Wednesday from yours truly.
We want you to comment below what your backpacking tip is so we can help spread the love with our fellow travelers.
And don't forget to like us on Instagram, Twitter, like us on Facebook at Happy Her the Series. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a great, positive day.